Check, check. Hi, Justin. Check, check.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The June 17th, 2026 meeting of the City Council will now come to order at 6 p.m. May we have roll call, please?
Jessica Ayers.
Here.
Nick Card.
Here.
Kevin Keating. Mike Kurlinger.
Here.
John Quinn.
Here.
Zach Smith. Kevin Stein. And Garrett West.
Here.
We have 5 present.
Okay, we made it. Mr. Vile, City Manager reports, please.
Mayor, Council, John Bile, you're serving as your interim city manager. Just a few updates I wanted to provide with you tonight. First of all, last week we had a K-9 Memorial Honors event where we recognized and presented the new K-9 Memorial there in front of our police department. This honors current and past K-9 teams. The old facility was vandalized, so we replaced it with this new one. Turned out really nice, and we are including all of the dogs that have been participated in this program through the years. Just many thanks to the council for allocating CCIF funds to do this. This is, for those that are not familiar with that, that's local and state marijuana tax, and one of the uses that we used was to do this memorial. And thank you, Councilors Quinn, West, and Ayers for attending this event. We continue to have great success and progress and momentum in our recreation program. We talk a lot about it, but we talk about it a lot because of the success that we do have. Just a few highlights that I would note. Last month, in the month of May, we hosted 7 different tournaments at Lithian Driveway Fields, 241 teams, and what's most notable is 144 of those teams came from outside the Rogue Valley and came to our city and were purchasing things at our restaurants, staying in our hotel rooms, and using our city facilities for some great tournaments. Last Sunday, we had the 8th, it was one of the highest days we've ever had at Rogue X, where we had over 700 guests attend. Only one of 8 times that has happened at Rogue X. When that facility was opened, we had a lot of people attend right away, and then you always see a little bit of a dip because the newness kind of wears out. The numbers have continued to rise, though, and we're just seeing great success there. And then this weekend, we are hosting at Rogue X an NCAA certified girls basketball tournament. This is something that Tom Cole and Rich Rosenthal have worked together to bring to our city. And this is a whole bunch of teams showing up with very high caliber of players, and we have major colleges throughout the West attending it for recruiting purposes and at a tournament. So this is outstanding. Just hats off to Rich Rosenthal and his whole team for the success that they're having with our recreation facilities. On Monday, we opened the recruitment for the next city manager for the city of Medford. We partnered with Raftelis, a consulting group, to do a nationwide search. We hope to have a nice group of applicants by July 13th, which will be the first call. And if we have a great group, we'll start the interview process then and the vetting through them. So, Council, thank you for your help in drafting and putting together the criteria for hiring, and that process is underway. I would just note a project that we have reported on frequently is we are doing the groundbreaking ceremony for the wastewater treatment plant project out in White City, a major project that council has talked about for years, and we put together financing plans to complete this project. It's starting to look like a project, and we'll have that groundbreaking on the 25th and encourage everyone to attend to get this major $300 million project completed, which is sorely needed for our community. Lastly, I would note the volunteers that we have. We have great volunteers in our community, and this last month we had 87 different volunteers that picked up over 660 pounds of trash and debris. A big focus area was the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall and the Medford Cemetery. Roosh Outdoor Community School helped us at Jefferson Elementary baseball fields, and this is again as a program that our volunteer coordinator in the Parks and Recreation program leads, and we have great support from our volunteers. I wish they were all here tonight so council could give them a special thanks. We do have some upcoming meetings. We have our July 1st regular council study session, or a regular meeting, and then we have a study session on the 8th, a regular council meeting on the 15th, and those agendas are putting together. And then council will have a council break from July 16th to August 4th, where we will have no meetings. And Your Honor, that concludes my report, if you have any questions.
Any questions? Thank you much, sir. We will go on to our employee recognition. Human Resources Director Bonnie Barish is here to recognize 2 retirements.
Mayor, Council, my name is Bonnie Barish. I'm your HR Director, and tonight we are recognizing, like you said, 2 retirements, long-term experience here. First retirement is for Sean Schmidt, who is a fire battalion chief, and he's been with us for 26 years, and I would like to invite Chief Thompson down to say a few words about Sean.
Sean, if you'll join me. Good evening. Mayor, Council, I'm Eric Thompson, your fire chief. And tonight it's my honor to recognize Battalion Chief Sean Schmidt as he concludes an extraordinary career in the fire service. Sean's journey began in 1996 with the Phoenix Fire Department before moving to Grants Pass Fire. Those early years provided the foundation for a remarkable career that helped shape the firefighter and leader that he would become. In May of 2000, Sean joined the Medford Fire Department, beginning what would become a quarter of a century of dedicated service to our community. Wow, sounds like a long time, huh? Quarter of a century. Yeah. Throughout his career, Sean embraced every opportunity to learn, teach, and serve. He promoted to engineer and fulfilled what many firefighters considered a childhood dream, and that is simply driving fire engines. But Sean never viewed any position as being about himself. Whether serving on the hazardous materials team, teaching firefighter academies, mentoring recruits, serving on training committees, leading specialized programs, or stepping into the interim role of training chief, not once, but twice, when the department really needed him, Sean consistently answered the call. In 2020, Sean was promoted to battalion chief. While he often jokes that the fire chief took a gamble on him, that promotion was a natural result of a career built on competence, credibility, and steadfast commitment to others. When asked about his proudest moments, Sean didn't mention fires that were extinguished. He didn't mention lives saved or promotions earned. Instead, he simply talked about watching others succeed. He spoke about the firefighters he helped along the way, the ones who earned promotions, excelled at emergency scenes, overcome personal challenges, or reached goals that once thought that was impossible. That answer tells you everything you need to know about Sean Schmidt. His greatest source of pride has never been his own accomplishments. It has been success of those around him. Like every firefighter with a long career, Sean has been part of some of the most significant incidents in our region's history. From the floods of 1996, the Boise Cascade Fire, the Front Street Cold Storage Fire, Siskiyou Summit Tunnel Fire, G.I. Joe's Shopping Center Fire, the Deer Ridge Fire, Plaza Fire, the Alameda Fire, and the airplane crash at the Chevy dealership. And there were countless, many, many more. Sean has stood shoulder to shoulder with his brothers and sisters in service to our community. He would be the first to tell you there were no hero stuff, just doing the job along the people he cared about. But those who have served with him know the impact he has had every one of those incidents. Sean, your legacy will not be measured by the rank you achieved or by the incidents you responded to. It will be measured by the firefighters you mentored, the leaders you developed, and the standards you upheld, and the countless people who are better because you had the opportunity to serve. They had the opportunity to serve along you. On behalf of the City of Medford, the Medford Fire Department, and the grateful community, thank you for your dedicated service. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship, your humility, and your commitment to others. Please help me in congratulating Battalion Chief Sean Schmidt on his retirement.
Thank you, Sean, for your service. Our next retirement, our police chief, Justin Ivins, after 30 years of service. And so I will turn this over to John Vile.
Mayor and council and those attending tonight, we have the privilege of recognizing and thanking someone whose career has been deeply intertwined with the safety and well-being of our community for nearly 3 decades. Chief Ivins' story is in many ways a Medford story. He was raised here in Medford, but he returned after college to begin his career with the Medford Police Department in 1995 as a community service officer. What followed was a remarkable journey of service, leadership, and dedication to the people of Medford. Over the last 30 years, Chief Ivins has served in nearly every corner of the department. He's worked patrol, helped launch the gang and street unit, served as a major crimes detective, supervised the K-9 operations, led patrol teams, managed training and community outreach programs, served as deputy chief, and ultimately became the chief of police for Medford in 2021. At every step, he earned the respect of his peers, his colleagues, and the community he served. Key amongst that is he never forgot what it felt like to be an entry-level police officer out there trying to do this hard work. Throughout his career, Chief Ivins has been recognized for his professionalism and leadership, including being named Medford Police Department Officer of the Year and receiving multiple Outstanding Achievement Awards. But perhaps more important than the awards is the reputation he built as a collaborative leader, someone who believed in listening, building strong teams, and making decisions alongside the people most affected by them. In short, he built a reputation as someone we all wanted to work with. As Chief Ivins continued moving the department forward under his leadership, the department added new officers, created a training sergeant program, launched a drone program, established a mobile response team, expanded regional partnerships, modernized equipment and technology, supported school safety initiatives, negotiated challenging labor agreements, and strengthened organizational capacity throughout the department. These accomplishments will continue well after he leaves here tonight. We recognized the professional achievements tonight, but we also recognize the person behind the uniform and the badge. Justin and his wife, Katie, herself a retired Medford police detective, have dedicated much of their lives to public service. Together, they raised their 2 children while balancing the demands of challenging law enforcement careers. And Justin has often said that some of his proudest moments have not come at work, but from coaching his children and other youth in softball and on the baseball fields. And now, for 30 years of service to the city of Medford, it's finally time for Justin to focus on retirement. If you talked to him recently, you probably learned of his plans. First, he's going to go golfing. Second, he's going to go golfing. And if everything goes according to plan, he will go golfing. We all hope his retirement scorecard is like his career, short on bogeys but long on birdies. Of course, retirement also means more time with Katie, and anyone who knows Justin knows that while he enjoys teasing about Katie's passion for horses and reminding us all how expensive horses can be, we suspect he's about to discover that retirement is going to include a few more horse adventures than he is anticipating. Whether he's spending his days on the golf course or accompanying Katie on her next equestrian journey, we're confident he'll approach retirement with the same good humor that made him such a respected and well-liked leader. Chief Ivins, on behalf of the mayor, the city council, city staff, and especially the residents of the city of Medford, thank you for your dedication, your integrity, and your unwavering commitment to this community. Congratulations on your retirement, an accomplishment that has been well-earned and is well-deserved. We wish you the best. We wish you and your family nothing but the best in the years ahead. Congratulations, Chief.
Wow, thanks, John. I always said when I made chief, it's always you want to get in partnership with the fire department because then a lot of people show up. But I just want to say thanks for the opportunity to be your chief of police. It's truly been an honor and a privilege. There are some people that I just truly have to say thank you for. These are in no specific order except for the first one, and that's my wife, Katie. Two amazing kids. I got my family here. I'll get through this, I promise. But I also got to thank the prior chiefs of Medford, specifically Randy Sparacino and Scott Clausen, and also Brian Shotunes, prior city manager, putting the trust on me to lead this department. To my command staff, my administrative staff, just truly a bunch of rock stars. And to the department head team, I get to work with these folks every single day, and they are truly an amazing group of individuals. And I gotta recognize Chief Thompson. I truly, the friendship over the last couple of years has been amazing. I think our relationship with Medford Fire has never been stronger than it is now, and I am truly confident that that will continue well into the future. To the men and women of law enforcement throughout Jackson County, I mean, the relationships over 30 years that you develop are priceless. And then to the citizens of Medford, I mean, coming out of 2020, coming out of the George Floyd incident, Alameda, and the things that were circling around law enforcement and the across the nation, the defund movement, the citizens of Medford supported their police department, and they backed us, and I'm truly appreciative of that. And lastly, to the men and women of the Medford Police Department, they are the ones that get it done, day in and day out. And I'm truly excited tonight that you guys are going to hear about a team award that involves just some outstanding work. These folks, when there is a big case or something breaks, we throw every tool, every idea, everything we can at it. I think that was clearly displayed here recently with our most recent homicide, where the suspect was in custody within about 10 minutes, and that case is closed and moved on for prosecution. So they're amazing. I've been sworn in twice in these chambers. Once was 30 years ago. I was eye candy then, I'm still eye candy now. But a lot has changed. MPD was housed in this building. We had stars instead of shields for our badges. The Losman Annex didn't even exist, and there was a massive post office building across the street. The second time was 4.5 years ago as chief of police. I'm truly proud of my accomplishments, but I'm prouder of what the team of MPD has done as my time as chief. I'm excited for the future of MPD. Chief Arnold is going to do a great job leading this department, and I know he'll put an excellent team around him. Thank you.
Are there dry eyes in the house still? All right, so we are going to move on to talk about a team award, and I would like to have Chief Arnold come and do the honors.
Mayor and Council, Trevor Arnold, your police chief. I do have the honor and privilege tonight to present a team award, one that we do not get to give out very often, and this is for some very well-deserved hard work. So I'm going to call everyone down here, and then I'll read the citation. So if I can get the following officers to come join me down here in front. Sergeant Escada, Sergeant Boyd, Corporal Tarando, Corporal Alden, Officer Baru, Officer Harvey, Officer Schwab, Little Schwab, Officer Boone, Officer Lowe, and Officer Newman. Thanks, you guys. On March 28th, 2026, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, Medford police officers responded to a shooting at Crater Lake Avenue and Stevens Street. Within minutes, they arrived to find a 16-year-old victim suffering from a gunshot wound to the neck. The first officers on scene immediately went to work, providing life-saving medical aid until paramedics could take over. With only a vague suspect description and knowing the suspect was likely still nearby, officers quickly organized a search. What stands out in this is officers who had already gone off duty turned around and came back to help. Within 10 minutes, officers located 2 individuals near Providence Hospital. During their contact, one of the individuals admitted to the shooting and was found with a concealed handgun. Because of their quick response, strong coordination, and commitment to each other and this community, a dangerous suspect was taken into custody almost immediately. Their actions prevented further violence and turned what could have been a long and difficult investigation into a swift and successful resolution. This is exactly what professionalism, teamwork, and dedication look like, and it's why we're recognizing them today. Please join me in thanking these officers for their work.
Thank you. And that will conclude our employee recognition.
That's all? So I tell you what, every once in a while, it's always tough to lose people, particularly those who have served the community so long and so well, but it's just kind of heartwarming as well to see the award for the hard work that we have, and just a great celebration of public safety tonight. So thanks again. TJ, you think you can make your way up for your presentation? Good luck. We'll give everybody a chance to get out, but we're just as excited to see you, sort of. I'm a little unclear what you might have said when you were in the stands, but
Good evening, Mayor, Councilor. My name is TJ Holmes. I'm the Senior Vice President of Travel Medford. I'd like to start off by saying congratulations to the 2 retirees and Police Department for their accomplishments. A special thank you to Chief Ivins, or Eye Candy Ivins, as he likes to call himself, for all of his years of dedication and service in making our community a safer place. We're going to miss him. Also, to start off too, I'd like to say congratulations to you, the city, and Parks and Rec Department for the ribbon cut for the pickleball courts out at West Howard Memorial Sports Park. What a fantastic facility to be able to have that for our community. Facility development continues to evolve in this community, and I thank you for the investment that you see not only for the tourism side, but for the community as well in trying to invest in back into recreation in our youth. I will say that you have a full report in front of you, a more in-depth report for our quarter 3 report that I'll just be touching on some key highlights today. So for quarter 3 for January through March, I know we're a little behind the schedule here. We kind of have to change some things around, but looking at TLT starting off the year here of 2026, we got the last 5 years up there of TLT, and the numbers that you're seeing up there, the transient lodging tax is Travel Medford's share. The city of Medford receives 75% of it for general fund and park improvement fund as well. One thing I wanted to touch on, February here was a significant increase, a record for February in TLT. The city did receive some late payments for a couple of lodging operators during that month that had surpassed over a certain amount of time. So the city staff, kudos to the city finance staff for working with Travel Medford and making sure that we're aware of that so we can measure appropriately going forward. But a great February nonetheless. All in all, for quarter 3, we have a record, the second year in a row where we were over 331,000 in TLT for Travel Medford's share. So even if you take out the late payments that were in February, it still would have been a record quarter. Some of the key metrics that we focus on at Travel Medford: the average daily rate, occupancy, revenue from both TLT overall, but also intermediaries. Just want to touch on a few things. As far as the ADR going down a little bit, we did have a hotel opening up in December. Usually when we have a new hotel open up, the market takes a little bit to adjust to those new rates coming in. So it was down a little bit the first part of 2026. Occupancy looks down quite a bit. However, one thing to note is room supply was up 7% than it was the year over year. So we were only down about 22 rooms per night over that quarter. So pretty even as far as a flat for total demand. And then I mentioned TLT revenue being up and intermediaries. That was where we saw that significant increase in some late payments coming in. So a huge increase in that. Touch on some tourism promotion and marketing campaigns. Some of the great things that we have going on are our Expedia campaign, where we can see if we serve an ad to somebody, if they come to Medford and book a hotel room or an Airbnb in Medford specifically after seeing our ad. We're tracking that. So we spent $94,000 from August through March on this campaign, generated $1.7 million so far in room revenue for Medford. So that's a return advertising spend of $18 for every dollar that we spend on that campaign. So that's a campaign that continues to perform really well that we'll continue to keep doing. Public relations, one of the things that we were up at the Oregon Wine Symposium. We hosted 36 media up at the Oregon Wine Symposium to position Medford as a wine and agritourism destination. Hosted them for a nice dinner, got some one-on-one time, and we're still seeing the results of those conversations from the media come in. One thing I want to touch on too, we were very proud to launch this We Are Rogue Valley video series. Our chief marketing officer worked very hard on working on this. Basically, it was a mini documentary series. I mean, we're marketers, so we're storytellers. And so the way that we do that is trying to highlight the people, the places, the faces that make Medford and our region really great. So that way potential visitors can come and have a connection to us as a destination to keep that ongoing want to return back to our destination. So we created 4 mini documentaries that are about 7 minutes each to be able to tell the story of our region through our different pillars with outdoor recreation, with agritourism, with our downtown muralists, and then also wine. So just want to show a quick little highlight, but I encourage you to scan that You can go and watch all 4 on your own. I can also follow up with the link, or Winnie can as well, to be able to watch them on your own. But there might be some technical difficulties. I was working on this earlier to have to stop screen share for a sec to play the video. Not much there, but just a quick little sizzle reel of that. All right. Touching on some event promotion and what we also have going on. In Q3, we had some key events. Obviously, can't be a presentation without me talking about cornhole up here in preparation of the World Championships in 2027. But we did host the Medford Major in January. Thank you all. A lot of people from city officials and city leaders, elected officials such as yourselves, participated. It was a great event. Councilor Curlinger, runner-up, almost got it there to win that Pro-Am event, but it was a great event, being able to see what it looks like, to be able to have it at Rogue X in such a world-class facility like that. We're always honored to bring in events like that. Also with the SEVA volleyball tournament, obviously Parks and Rec does a great job trying to help recruit and run those events as well, bring those into their space. And then we also hosted a mini tourism travel jam, so to speak, a mini tourism conference at the Rogue Valley Country Club, where we brought people from all over the state to try and talk about industry-specific topics and talking points. Looking ahead, we did launch our event promotion grant, and so at the end of this quarter, we did have a record number of applicants apply, and we did award 37 grants to 37 different events during that time. So I'll have a more detailed report over what all those events are when I present again to you in August. For destination development, that's where our sports tourism comes really in handy as well. We hosted a Know Your Role night for the Rogue Valley Royals back in January, and then we continue to aggressively recruit sporting events from across the nation and primarily West Coast to try and come here. So during this time, we reviewed 117 RFPs. We attended 2 national trade shows to have one-on-one appointments with rights holders and event directors to try and recruit their events to come to Medford. And so that's a continuing, ongoing approach to what we're doing to try and market our world-class facilities with Lithia and Driveway Fields and Rogue X to try and bring out-of-town visitation here. And lastly on this too, we launched a Your Sport Ground Savings Passport, so essentially a coupon savings pass for restaurants specifically tied to sporting events that we launched for a couple very specific targeted events, such as the Rogue Memorial Challenge with the soccer tournament that city manager, interim city manager John Valla talked about today, with 241 teams coming in, trying to get people out there to try and get back into the restaurants, get some deals going to try and encourage them to be able to spend out in our community a little bit more as well. And one thing I do want to touch on, I know Savor Southern Oregon that Travel Medford hosted was last weekend, so obviously not in Q3, our big wine event, signature wine event. I'll have a full impact report for you when I get to talk to you in August, but just some quick numbers I want to share with you. We had nearly 1,000 people come through the event in just year 2. We had representing 53 different zip codes, unique zip codes from 13 different states that were here. So just an incredible event. It just happened this last weekend, so I just wanted to share a little bit of information for that. And I can answer any other questions.
Yeah, thank you, TJ. Any questions? Mr. Keating?
Hey, TJ, the intermediaries, is there a bundle of accounts receivable sitting out there?
So the city finance team does a great job in updating us. They have all the details to be able to share with that. It seems like there's a few, every month there's a couple of late payments coming in from different lodging operators and different intermediaries, and I think the city's doing a good job of trying to, that collection part, to try and make sure that gets caught up.
Anything else? Yes, Jessica.
Thanks for the update, TJ. I did have a few questions, but I think you knew they were coming because you answered them all. So thanks.
Well, thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Next up is Deborah Deborah Lee here to provide the quarterly update in regards to the Multicultural Fair and Center for Nonprofit Legal Services.
As you stated, my name is Deborah Lee, and I'm the Executive Director for the Center for Nonprofit Legal Services. And I really appreciate this opportunity to share what we have provided with the Medford Community Development Block Grant. This is the third year that we have an attorney doing outreach at the Kelly Shelter and providing legal advice, helping with trying to figure out how the individual can help themselves, and then also to process the application process to seek legal assistance from our agency. And when the Navigation Center began, there were mandates that we would increase access to housing, public benefits, and health care. And those are the areas that we concentrate on through a team of legal services, attorneys, and paralegals. And for this fiscal year, 2025 to 2026, we have helped 60 people at the Kelly Shelter. And do you have any questions about that? You're probably more interested in the fair. So you may already recognize our poster. This is our logo, and it's the pear in it, and it has a shape of the globe. And we're fortunate to have many businesses and public agencies that support the fair. And this is we're going on the 33rd annual fair, and it's the longest continuous multicultural fair in the state of Oregon. And I really like to recognize the city of Medford for sponsoring the fair for a long time. And we also received a grant from Travel Medford. And you could see the other sponsors that are listed on the poster as well as the flyer. So this effort is basically relying on volunteers. So there's Friends of the Multicultural Fair, which is the planning committee. I'm a member of Katie, and so that's the connection with the city. And what we try to do is be inclusive and to welcome everyone and to actually have a safe place. And because of the sponsorship, we are able to make this a free admission, and all the activities are free. The only required payment is for the food vendors and the merchants that are there to participate in the fair. And so we are celebrating the diversity of our community and the strength of our community partnerships.
So Deborah, just kind of with that, 33 years running, that's very, very impressive. we as council has kind of talked about being able to go to some of these events and actually set up a booth or whatever to kind of engage with folks there. I see that John Quinn has given the opening speech on that. Would that be perhaps an opportunity that you said there are food vendors and merchants? Do you think council could maybe even set up a little booth there to engage?
And this leaflet has all the vendors and
Okay.
participants in the fair last year. So right now, we're planning for the 33rd annual Greater Medford Multicultural Fair, which is going to be September 26th at the Pear Blossom Park.
Perfect. Is there any other questions from council? Deborah, thank you so much.
Okay, and we appreciate your support.
You bet. We are on agenda item 40, which is oral requests and communications. This is where the council sets aside up to 30 minutes for in-person public comments. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per person or organization. As outlined in the agenda, the public may also submit written comments to the council. Winnie, have we had any written comments?
Sorry. Yes, Your Honor. We received written comments from 4 people requesting the city council change their opinions regarding the Main Street configuration. Tara Beals, Christina Charvat, Violet Renee, and Kara Baylog all submitted written comments. The comments were submitted to the mayor, the city council, and appropriate staff. Comments are also available on the city's website. There were no other written comments received for agenda item 40.
Okay. So before hearing public comments, I'd like to note the decorum policy for the council chambers. The use of noisemakers or disruptive audience behavior such as applause, cheering, or shouting is not permitted. Decorum violations are time-consuming and disrespectful to the speaker and all attendees. Failure to follow the basic standards of decorum may result in removal from the meeting. And just super clear, this is your opportunity to provide comments to the council and is not to be a time for question and answers. If you have completed a public comment form, please come to the front of the room when your name is called. However, do we have someone online to go ahead and testify?
Maria, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hi. I'm Mama Bear Maria Heradaga. First, I would like to say thank you, Mayor, City Attorney Eric, Winnie, and City Council members for this time. I would like to address not only Hawthorne Park, but also all the other developments that you guys are actually being very amazing, taking the time to consider to move forward to bring a better future for Medford. But I would ask that you guys stop and take the time to consider not only the environmental impact, but the impact it will have on the children, the next 7 generations, Mother Earth, and a stadium there, the impact it would have on the traffic, the incoming violence that it would bring, with the water being right there, the environmental impact that would go into there. You know, there's so much beauty that could be made right there. An ongoing playground for the children. So many beautiful things. I will be getting with Eric and submitting some stuff to him, as I know I do not have that much time. But Medford, you guys are doing such a wonderful job, and I would just like to take this time to appreciate each one of you guys for the things that you are doing and the steps that you are moving forward in. But I would also like to ask that in these times that you guys stop and think about the major effects that it would have not only on the environment, yet on the children, on the next 7 generations, and actually on everything all around. Those trees have been there for so long. What while the fact that it's able to give oxygen, if those trees, everything that's there is taken down, how much would Medford be affected for oxygen? You know, there's so much to consider.
Maria, you bring up very good points, and we absolutely appreciate your time and bringing those to our attention, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we call the next three. I think we have three.
We have Ruben, Brendan Binger, and Logan Bell.
Great. Yeah. I don't know. Oh.
No, I was called first, huh?
Yeah, she gets 3 minutes because she's handicapped. I did.
Hello, council. Is the clock ticking? Okay, here we go. So it's me again, and since the last time I spoke to you guys, I did a little bit of research in this community. I put myself out there. I went to Hawthorne Park. I went to visit some of these hotels that are being taxed. I listened to the numbers on the TLT. You guys just know that it's costing about $1,800 to $2,200 a month in motels for your homeless people right now. That's your guys' tax inflation for your guys' tax here. You guys are bringing bigger numbers, as this man spoke on, because you guys are charging the community, your homeless community, mostly because a lot of you guys' programs like Access and all these programs are helping fund these homeless people through these hotels. I spoke to the hotel owners. They didn't vote for this. You guys implemented on them. That's kind of why you guys' money is coming late. Secondly, KNO Construction is a company out of Texas. Their representatives say that they will be flying in and trucking in their own employees. It's not going to bring more employment here. They're bringing in their own people. There's a trucking company in this building owner who may have some interest in this because he has a company in Fresno, California, which has a stadium for Fresno Grizzlies. He could contact Jerry Dyer, who's the mayor, and when they built that stadium, it was $60 million. The inflation has increased so much, your guys are looking at about $112 million. You're not bringing more jobs. The crime and all of that stuff I've spoke on, I've talked to you guys as Chief Arnold. He said he's outmanned. He doesn't have the people for it. I spoke to people who are scared to come speak to you guys because they're scared of repercussions. I'm not afraid of you guys. I just want something for our children. The transportation company, when a particular owner took over this company, when the electronic trucking was being brought into, he panicked and cut his fleet in half. That impacted a local business here. That business impacted me. As of August, I've been unemployed. Me and my family would not like to thank that person. That was a bad business decision. But when it was his money, he tightened his pocket. When it's taxpayers' money, he's bullish to spend $250,000. There's a lot of issues that need to be addressed. Whatever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Brendan Binger, Ward 2, 754 South Holly Street. Keeping it brief out of respect for time. A quick reminder, the current downtown Main Street reconfiguration plan is irresponsible on safety, on finances, and on policy. Tonight, I'll just name one safety concern. The new configuration introduces a real dooring risk. For those who may not be familiar, dooring is when someone in a parked car opens their door into the path of a passing cyclist. The rider has no time to stop and slams into it. I'm deeply concerned about what that means with high-speed e-bikes now common downtown. A rider traveling over 20 miles an hour hitting an opened car door is not a scraped knee or even a broken arm. It is a credible risk of death. I do not say that lightly, and I hope you don't hear that lightly. This is an emerging new reality that urban planning must now account for. On a brighter note, Creekside Quarter as a project is exciting and a valuable direction for our downtown, and I'm glad to see it progressing. My one request, please do not delete any public urban green space to build it. Instead, enhance Hawthorne Park as part of that project. Our downtown Bear Creek frontage is an undercapitalized asset. Optimize it, invest in it, and let Creekside Quarter be the project that finally makes the most of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Councilor, Mayor. My name is Logan Bell, Ward 1, 508 North Berkeley Way. I'd like to first commend Council for revisiting climate-friendly areas. I really think that CFAs have the potential to really revitalize downtown Medford, both economically, and they simply are better for the environment. They also promote many other modes of transportation and make the areas less dependent upon automobiles. I know this council generally bemoans top-down mandates from Salem, but I personally applaud Salem for this. Let me read to you a quote from the Oregon Transportation Planning Rules concerning CFAs. Cities and counties shall plan for separated or protected bicycle facilities on streets in climate-friendly areas, metro region 2040 centers, and other places with concentrations of destinations. The question I have before council is how can you all simultaneously remove Medford's only protected bike lane that resides in the middle of Medford's proposed CFA and still comply with mandates coming from Salem? And then on a separate note, I'd like to thank the Public Works Department. I reported a pothole that almost took me out, and they fixed it in a week. So thank you.
Thank you. That's it, Winnie? Great. Thank you, everybody, for coming in to talk to us today. We are moving on to an agenda item. Approval or correction of the June 3rd, 2020 regular minutes. Does anyone have any revisions or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, they will stand as presented. Moving on to consent calendar, we have 2 items on the consent calendar tonight, Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 60.1, Council Bill 2026-43, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a 1-year contract in the amount of $496,250 with Univar Solutions to supply and deliver sodium hypochlorite and sodium bisulfite bulk chemicals to the Regional Water Reclamation Facility, and 60.2, which is Council Bill 2026-44, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a contract in the amount of $488,061 with Romtech Inc. for design and installation of a public restroom at Jackson Park.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitten. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Mr. West, and second by Jessica. Any to be removed? All right. Seeing none, Winnie, can we have roll call, please?
Garrett West,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Mike Curlinger.
Yes.
We have 6 yes.
All right, that takes us up to ordinances and resolutions. There are, how many tonight?
I didn't think about it.
2 resolutions tonight. Mr. Mitten?
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.1 is Council Bill 2026-45, an ordinance authorizing execution of a 3-year agreement between the City of Medford and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal AFSCME employees concerning wages, hours, fringe benefits, and other working conditions, effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029.
We've had quite a bit of extensive discussion on this. It might be good for everyone at large to have at least a brief staff report on this prior to motion, unless you guys are ready to go.
A brief staff report, please.
Okay.
Mayor, Council, Bonnie Barish, your HR Director, and I am bringing forth the report on the AFSCME contract. So the AFSCME labor agreement is for a 3-year period. Negotiations were very professional and collaborative with that group. We all reached tentative agreement on May 19th for the issues, and they did ratify the agreement on June 9th of 2026. So the key economic terms, there was a 6% increase effective July 1st, of this year, which is a 3% salary adjustment and a 3% COLA, and then a 3 to 5% COLA for the next 2 years. Our city contribution changed from $150 to $250 per month for the HRA Viva accounts, and then 9 of 41 classifications were reassigned to a higher grade, and this is based on a total compensation report that the city does for each of those positions. Additional amendments provided, they were minimal financial impact, but there were a couple different things like housekeeping and other things. So the financial impact of this 3-year contract would be $5 million. It is within the adopted budget, and it impacts multiple funds for the city, and those are listed there. And staff recommendation is to approve the motion.
Super. Are there any questions? Thank you, Bonnie. I'll take a motion.
I move to approve Council Bill 2026-45.
I second.
So it's a motion from Mr. Keating, second from Mr. West. Any discussion for your motion? It's okay. When will you, Garrett, would like to say something?
I support this. I think this is a reasonable thing to approve with AFSCME, and I wanted to thank them for their reasonable negotiations with the city.
Excellent. Winnie, will you call the roll, please?
Kevin Keating,
Present. Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Mike Curlinger,
Yes.
and Nick Card.
Yes.
We have 6 yes.
All right, that passes. 80.2.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.2 is Council Bill 2026-46, a resolution approving and authorizing rules for a 3-year compensation and benefit plan for executive and non-represented employees regarding wages, hours, fringe benefits, and other working conditions, covering from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029.
Super. Bonnie?
Okay, this particular report is about the executive and non-represented employees' compensation and benefits. We have about 113 employees that fall within this group. So we engaged executive and non-representative employees in a conversation. We met to talk to them about identifying concerns regarding compensation or benefit priorities. And then based on the employee feedback, we proposed the COLA adjustment to align with our labor agreements as well, even though this is not a contract. We want to be equitable within our city, and so we were recommending the following changes. So we are recommending a 3% COLA for July 1st, a 3 to 5% COLA for the next 2 years. We would be increasing the VEBA by 100 per month, and we have added Veterans Day holiday as a city holiday. That is also in line with the other contracts. And then some additional revisions were listed that have minimal financial impact. So the financial impact of this is $6,159,495.58. It is within the adopted budget, and it is also against several funds within the city. And so it's staff recommendation to approve.
Did you have a question or a motion?
Question.
Go ahead.
Bonnie, can you go back one slide, please? And just, I want to clarify the word impact. Is that additional, the salary increase that's additional, or is this the total salary for that group of employees?
I don't believe it is additional. I believe it is, well, additional in that we did budget for a COLA, but I'll phone a friend.
So basically, I'm just asking, is it 6 million extra or from 5 to 6 or
I
something?
think the total cost is within the budget, correct? But here's the friend.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Ryan Martin, your Chief Financial Officer. So that's the total impact if there were no changes compared to the changes that were proposed this evening. So the budget, this is, as Bonnie said, it is within the budget for this year. So we budgeted knowing there would be an increase. This actually is less than we had budgeted.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to clarify, that's the increase, though, the 6 million?
Yes.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
And then one question is, a couple of them were 3 to 5% COLA increases, and I was kind of curious what that meant exactly.
So it's based off the CPIU West, and we look at December of the year prior. So for 26, we looked at that for 25, which was technically 2.9, and we did 3%. Then for the next years, it's that within a range. So they will get a minimum of 3, but no more than 5 to be able to have a cap on it.
Yeah, Mr. Bile?
I just wanted to expound on Mr. Keating's question, just to make sure the 6.1 million is a 3-year impact. So that's an increase over 3 years.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification then.
Thank
Great.
you.
Other questions? Motion?
It's not on the screen anymore. I move to approve Council Bill 2026-46.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Winnie, will you call roll, please?
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 6 yes.
All right, that passes, and we move on to public hearings. Thank you, Bonnie. But before beginning public hearings, I'd like to remind everyone that the rules of decorum previously outlined are still applicable, and violation may result in your removal. This evening, we have a continuation request of a land use legislative hearing and 1 administrative hearing. If you'd like to speak during one of these hearings, please complete a blue public comment form to be called forward. Agenda item 90.1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 90.1 is a request for continuance. This was previously continued on February 4th, 2026. Council is requested to consider an indefinite continuance of a public hearing related to transportation facility for Stevens Street and Wabash Avenue between Crater Lake Avenue and Ridgeway, using a modified minor collector street cross-section that reduces bike lane widths, does not include planter strips or on-street parking, introduces dedicated turn lane, varies the standard paved street width, and reduces the overall right-of-way width throughout much of the project area. Sidewalk improvements are also authorized on the west side of Pearl Street between Stevens Street and Sailing Avenue.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitten. Okay, I will entertain a motion to continue, but one thing that I did discuss with Mr. Mitten and completely forgot about it the second I got done speaking to him about it was how this will come back if it does. And this being continued indefinitely, I think probably the simplest way, we can kind of make up our own rules to a certain degree, but if this comes up, we'll essentially bring it up as an action to reconsider, if you will, during an end of a meeting or at a council whereas, let's say staff comes back and says, we want to bring this back, we'll do it under you'll do it under council business to say, yeah, let's go ahead and reconsider that. So, I mean, at some point in time, that can be brought up, but that's how we'll bring this back from the dead a little bit. Yes, Mr. Bile.
Your Honor, the other thing I would add is the indefinite continuance also isn't an indication that nothing's happening. Staff is continuing to work on this. We have a study session scheduled for August 12th. We're just not comfortable at this point setting a future public hearing date, but work is continuing. You will hear a report on this here shortly.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll just go through those steps to sort of bring it back as an item.
And just from my perspective, I've always maintained that Robert's Rules is a guideline and not a binding rule on the city. If, after a study session or after council business, if there's direction from city council that you feel it's ready to come back, give us clear direction and we'll make it come back. There's no magic words or magic procedure, at least from my perspective, that we'll need to follow.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. I will entertain a motion to continue indefinitely. Mr. Kurlinger.
I move to continue the hearing indefinitely.
I second the motion.
Great. I think we've kind of talked on that. We just need some time to get it right. Winnie, will you call the roll?
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
and Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
We have 6 yes.
That was a public hearing.
Oh, we didn't.
Did I need to open a public hearing?
So what I would say is there anyone here who is here to testify on that matter? Because what we do with continuances for public hearings is only if there's someone here to testify
Yeah.
who can't come back at a later time.
Yep.
And with the continued indefinite, nobody would know whether it would. It's a moot issue because nobody was here to
Thank you.
testify on it.
Thank you for clearing that up. 90.2, Mr. Mitten.
Yes, Your Honor. Item 90.2 is Council Bill 2026-47, a resolution adopting the second supplemental budget for the 2025-2027 biennium, resulting in a $666,700 increase in appropriations for the biennium. This is an administrative hearing.
Thank you. May we have staff report, please?
Ryan Martin, your Chief Financial Officer, and tonight, as John Vile always says, I always provide good news. I think he might say bad news, but anyways, so I'm here to present the supplemental budget this evening, and we're actually receiving unanticipated revenues, which frequently happens throughout the biennium as we adopt the budget. It's been about a year now. Things change, and we've received some money that we did not anticipate receiving. So that total is, as Mr. Mitten said, $666,700. It affects 6 departments and 11 funds. And for the sake of brevity here, I'm just going to present the 2 changes that require the public hearing because the appropriations increased by more than 10%. The first one is the state forfeiture fund for our police department. The total impact is $29,100. We don't know when we're going to receive forfeiture monies, so we don't budget them. And so when we do receive them, like this money, then we appropriate it during this process. So that will be used for fuel and oil and small equipment. And then our federal forfeiture fund is we received a total of $122,000, and that'll be used for building modifications and equipment. In the AIC, we did put that there'd be unanticipated increases to our contract with ECSO, our dispatching service, which the board meeting was held after the agenda was set out, and there are no increases over what we budgeted. So these monies will not be used for those. They'll be used for other equipment in the police department or other services. So I just presented those. Happy to answer any other questions in the AIC or ready for a public hearing.
Mr. Keating?
I'm sorry, were those annual numbers, the 122 and the 29 annual revenues?
No, that's just what we've received since the last supplemental budget, so in the past 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
It's Mr. Quinn?
State and federal forfeiture money, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I do those for my county. They are very unpredictable. We'll have a $700,000 year, then a 1.2 year, then a 400. It's up and down. So annual would just not even be possible to respond to Mr. Keating's concern.
Just one more.
I would love those numbers, though.
Question was, are they restricted to use for police purposes or
Yes, they're heavily restricted, and it's different between federal and state. So like, I believe on the state one, we can purchase vehicles with that. On the federal side, we can't. Might be opposite, but I believe that's how it goes. But yes, very restricted. And we have 3 different forfeiture funds, depending on if it comes from the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, or there's one more, Treasury.
Other questions? Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this subject, please come forward. As called, please identify yourself for the record before speaking. Winnie, has anyone filled out a public comment form? Seeing no one coming forward, I will close the public hearing. Any discussion required before going to motion, or just who's got a motion for me? What do I got to do to put you in a motion?
I move approval of Council Bill 2026-47.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on that? Pretty routine. Yes, Mr. Curlinger.
So the resolution is for the entire amount.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, I feel good about this. Winnie, will you call the roll?
Garrett West,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Mike Curlinger,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 6 yes.
All right, and that passes. Thank you. Moving on to council business and proclamations. We've got time tonight. I have one proclamation, and this is for Juneteenth. Just to throw it out there, there is a big celebration put on this weekend. So Saturday, I believe it is at 2 o'clock. It starts earlier than that, but 2 o'clock, I will be reading this publicly in Parablossom Park, so please come out if you can. Whereas Juneteenth is a holiday marking the end of slavery in the United States, and whereas when Union Army General Gordon Granger landed at the Texas port city of Galveston in 1865 as the Civil War drew to a close, one of his first actions was to read General Order Number 3, which stated that all slaves are free and that former masters and slaves have absolute equality of personal and property rights. And whereas, following his statement, June 19th became the emancipation date of those long suffering for freedom. And whereas since then, as the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery in America, this tradition has remained strong well into the 21st century to recognize the triumph of the human spirit over the cruelty of slavery and to honor the strength, endurance, and faith of African American ancestors. And whereas it is imperative that citizens join together to acknowledge a time in our history that carried on the nation's ideals of equality and democracy and celebrate the joys of liberty and justice for every citizen. Now therefore, I, Michael Zarazinski, Mayor of Medford, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth Celebration Day in the city of Medford and urge all citizens to join us in this commemoration. Madame.
My turn. All right, council officers today. We had a discussion about Jackson County and their dog enforcement. We had a meeting with the county. As Danny Jordan indicated in the last chamber forum, they are struggling financially. They're pulling back on some services, which could include dog services to the citizens of Medford. So more info to come on that after some legal discussions are had. We had an update on the old Ramada. The building is not secure like it's supposed to be. Last time we visited, the building was open, the gate wasn't locked. We've been continually sending notes to the owner. We will continue to pursue any options that we have in rectifying this situation, but unfortunately there are not many at this moment. We have engaged an outside counsel in Portland to work on getting a third-party opinion on our charter and potential of conflict of interest with the Medford Water Commission. We also, as you can see in front of you, we've done a grant letter of support for DLCD UGB expansion area planning grant. This is not related to the UGB expansion discussion. This is a application for a grant for sewer infrastructure in the South Stage 2 MD5 area. Number 5, Carl McNair has unfortunately submitted his resignation. And lastly, if you're not aware, your CCIF requests are due on Friday the 26th, and that's coming up quickly. Do we have any committee reports? What, have y'all been slacking? Okay. All right. Nothing to.
No, I've got something then.
Okay.
But I'm looking for my invite. Medford Cruises this weekend, right? Yes. Yes. Okay, so just throwing it out there, I do have potentially a conflict with Medford Cruise and also the Juneteenth celebration, which I RSVP'd to that one first, so I may need someone to go judge cars. It's at, what time, Winnie? I think 1:45.
One of them's at 1:45 and one of them's at 2.
I think 1:45. PM.
No, I know. I do plan on attending the cruise, but I have commitments up until right around when the cruise starts, which is 5.
I might, you'll be willing to do it if I can't make that? Okay. I'll let you know for sure. If I can swing both, I will.
Does it take any skill, or is it?
Well,
do you like cars?
I like cars.
As a man of history, Kevin, you're going to do just fine.
I actually have had many muscle cars.
Yeah, I would say don't take a big hike or genuine strenuous activity prior to doing it, because you got to go look at a lot of cars. It's pretty amazing how many are in that car show. Yeah. Okay, more to come for you then.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so no more committee reports. Last call. Okay. I do have a Mayor and council liaison appointment for Downtown Medford Association and the Economic Improvement District Ad Hoc Committee. So during the June 3rd council meeting, John Quinn volunteered to serve as liaison to the Downtown Medford Association Board, and Mike Curlinger volunteered to serve as the liaison to the Downtown Medford Association's Economic Improvement District Ad Hoc Committee. Those proposed changes are outlined in the updated council liaison appointments document included in the agenda packet and in the handout provided on the dais. So I would like to appoint John Quinn as the council liaison to the Downtown Medford Association Board and Mike Curlinger as the council liaison to the Downtown Medford Association's Economic Improvement District Ad Hoc Committee.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks. That's all I have.
Did Curlinger have to get appointed to something? Oh, sorry. But you got him. You did both at the same time. See, I don't read that kind of stuff. I just halfway listen.
Say no about Curlinger? You clearly only halfway
Yeah. Which one of us were you going to vote against?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Do we need to pull something off this consent calendar and put it separate?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
I was not paying attention. Mr. Curlinger.
So I do have one question. I didn't notice this on my first read through. The Tourism Council, we have you listed as the alternate, but isn't it Garrett now? Because Garrett's been covering for me for the last couple that I missed.
I just go where I'm told.
Okay, just making sure.
If we need to make this official, we can do that.
I have no strong feelings. I'm just asking the question.
Are you interested in continuing to be? Okay. So, do you want to just clean it up? We have two cleanups?
Well, my question was the Regional Rate Committee for Regional Sewer currently lists the mayor as one of our appointees. I can't remember if we corrected that or not.
We talked about it, but I don't think did we actually take a formal action to fix it? We have to take formal action on that one, because that is well, we can take another one. Doesn't matter if it's two. We double it up. Eric, 2 actions is much better than 0 actions.
I'm game.
We'll need an alternate for Regional Rate Committee.
I thought Jessica was, we already settled this.
I move to remove Mike Zarazinski from the Regional Rate Committee and to move Garrett in his place and to appoint Jessica as an alternate, and I move to remove Jessica as the alternate from the Tourism Council and to put Garrett in as the alternate.
Second.
We still need the alternate.
A gentle reminder that microphones for the folks watching remotely.
I'm trying to do this hidden from the public.
He's making this difficult.
He doesn't want Garrett questioning him as the new head of the...
Well, Garrett will continue, so I'm fine with Garrett being 1 and me 2.
There you go. I just don't know that it's set up that way.
That's
Does it
what
have to
Mike's
be the other
motion
way?
just was, to make it so Garrett and I are the primaries and you
Are
are
you
the
saying that
alternate.
the
Yes,
president
so I don't
has to
think
be
you
the-
have an alternate right now.
Yes, Jessica is the alternate. That's what Mike's motion was.
I'll stay out. Maybe I should stay out of it.
Maybe. Okay, does everybody understand the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right. Oh, wait, are you all done?
Yeah.
Awesome. How can I mess up your presentation now?
You cannot. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Wonderful. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 7:18. Mura meeting at 7:25.
West.
Here.
And Michael Zarazinski.
Here.
We have 7 present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. First agenda item is the draft minutes from the April 15th, 2026 regular meeting. Does anyone have any revisions or corrections to these minutes? Okay, seeing none, the minutes will stand as approved. Next item is 30, oral requests and communications. The board sets aside this time for public to address the board with topics of their choice. As outlined in the agenda, the public may also submit written comments to the board. There were no written comments received for tonight's meeting. Comments are limited to 4 minutes per individual, group, or organization. Please complete a public comment form before speaking. Winnie, did anyone complete a public comment form for tonight's meetings? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 40, consent calendar. We have nothing, which means item 50 has nothing. For item 60, we have nothing. Moving on to item 70.1, we have resolution 2026-008. Mr. Mitten?
Thank you, Chair. Item 70.1 is Resolution 2026-008, a resolution approving an extension of time of performance under the Property Exchange and Development Agreement between Medford Urban Renewal Agency and Esteban Gonzalez concerning the redevelopment of 920 North Riverside Avenue and authorizing execution thereof by the MURA Interim Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mitten. Can we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, everyone. It's Michelle King, your interim MURA Executive Director. I'm going to introduce Harry Weiss this evening to give you a staff report on the extension of time of performance for the project known as La Fiesta, as he's been working on it since the inception. So with that, I'll introduce Harry.
Good evening, board. Nice to see you all. Happy solstice, a little early. So we're just memorializing the direction that you all gave back when we talked about the whole extension. And this is structured to say that we're extending it through the end of February, which was a year from when we all discussed it, with the 60-day acceleration provision that we can call and say you need to move ahead, the kick-out clause. And the one thing that Mr. Kerlinger asked me about in email yesterday, I wanted to clarify. We had a long conversation about proof of, lender interest in this project and when that would happen in terms of some kind of timing, because if we got it today, it wouldn't necessarily be valid a year from now. So I structured this in a way that the execution of the agreement is based on his providing letter of interest currently, that he has talked to a lender and they are aware of the project and they have some amount of money that they're interested in investing in this project. So that is a condition of the execution of this amendment to the Property Exchange and Development Agreement. And then when we get down the road, we'll just continue to work with him in terms of the financial status of the project as time grows closer. I will add one other thought about that. Our Opportunity Zone 2.0 application is pending at Business Oregon. This project is in Census Tract 1 and would be a potentially viable opportunity fund investment. And given that he has already expressed interest in probably doing a more substantial equity rollover into this property with some partners, I'm going to talk to him about how the Opportunity Fund works and how that might be a really good opportunity for him to use on this particular project. So this is just memorializing the direction that you all have given, and we'll proceed forward. Any questions?
Jessica?
So have you received that letter of interest from the lender, or will that occur when you sign the agreement
Occurs when
with
we
him?
sign the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Gonzalez, he's aware that this has been okay, great. Any other questions? I feel like I had one, but I can't remember it, so. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I move approval of MURA Resolution 2026-008.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Winnie, will you call roll?
Garrett West.
Yes.
Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
Michael Zarazinski.
Yes.
Nick Card.
Yes.
Mike Kerlinger.
Yes.
John Quinn.
Yes.
And Kevin Keating.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Thank you, Winnie. We do not have any board business, so we will move on to director and staff updates with a project update first. I'm assuming coming from Harry or Michelle?
Okay, I've just got a couple of quick things I just want to keep on your radar. So for the Element Hotel, we have a pretty good final reckoning of what our financial commitment is to the project. This summary shows that we have paid $769,015 in SDCs and development and project fees, which are part of the pot of money that is not determined to be funds of a public agency for the purposes of BOLI and determination of prevailing wage. So that was the first thing that we paid. In our development agreement, we had agreed to pay up to $1 million for those items. They've topped out here at $770,000. Since then, we've also spent $399,000 and change on direct project expenses that do accrue to that BOLI limit. So we have a remainder of about $350,000 that we can contribute either in the form of payment of expenses that they incur or as an outright economic development grant to the developer. The advantage of paying for things is that anything that we distribute as an economic development grant gets 1099'd at the end of the year and it's taxable to the developer, as opposed to if we simply pay an invoice, it doesn't show up as a 1099. So we are into this project for $1.519 million. Something happened to my format. Our land sales proceeds was just shy of 1.5. So the net TIF out of the substantial amendment going forward from 2018 is only $26,000. The rest of it came from rolling over earlier Mura investments in land and converting that to the cash that we've used on the project. Any questions about that?
Mayor?
I want to make sure that I understand that properly, because less land sale of let's say 1.5. Why in my head do I think that we did lot prep on that?
We did.
So was I not thinking that was also counting towards the 749 for funds of a public agency?
It does. That 399 figure includes the demolition of the existing building.
That was all our
the relocation of the gas line.
Okay.
All of that is part of those expenses that we paid that BOLI determined to be funds of a public agency in the project. We had hoped that that preparation would get washed out in the land sale, but that's not how BOLI looks at it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Second project update is for the development at Central Avenue with Stewardship Development, the 113 units of senior and veteran housing. They have completed the first phase of the ORCA application. They are in the second phase, which is impact assessment. They are expecting that to be concluded by the end of the summer. And the feedback that OHCS gave them about their application was minimal. They had very few questions. So we're pretty confident that they will go on the wait list and get a conditional funding hold by the end of summer. That then allows them to proceed to the next phase of the ORCA, which is the financial eligibility, which is the number crunching on pro forma and lender LOIs and cost estimates. From that, they move towards the final phase, which is a commitment where that's when they start spending the really hard money on construction documents, permits. That's when they come out of pocket about $1 million to be teed up. At the end of that, they get a reservation letter. And then they are on the wait list until such time as the funds are available and they move their way up the wait list and as fund availability opens up. So that's moving along according to schedule as far as our development agreement, and they're making good progress on their project. As an aside, next month I expect to bring you all some information about separating the warehouse from the apartment site. We're working on a proposal and some options for you all to consider about a disposition scenario for the warehouse. We'll get into that going forward. The other ones are our public improvement and project updates. Manzanita Street starts tomorrow, and completion of construction is slated by the end of October. So that will be a rather dramatic change in Liberty Park. Edward Street, it is still in engineering and design. We don't expect that design package to be completed until the end of '26, and that would go to bid in spring and under construction next summer. Closure of 3rd at Jackson, which is the final piece that we are doing associated with the closure of 3rd Street. That project package is being assembled now and will go out to bid in July. And again, we expect to award that in August and have that completed by October. That includes the extension of the water line on Jackson Street, the addition of a 8-inch line on Jackson Street that you all previously agreed to put into the scope of work. So we'll have a hard number for you on that at your next meeting. And that is it for project updates.
Anyone have questions on those projects or others we didn't address yet, Jessica?
Harry, can you remind me what the development timeline was with the senior housing? Like, how long did we give them to get through the process?
I don't remember off the top of my head what we put out in terms of how soon they can complete their application. Our agreement gives them an option through December of 2029 to buy the property. And that was intended to give them 3 bites at the apple. If there were funds available in the current biennium, they could apply for them. There are no funds, everything is committed. So the next biennium, is 2-year biennium, is when the next $350, $450 million opens up. Depending on where they are in the wait list, they may get funded in that biennium. If they don't make it, if somebody else is in front of them and they don't get money then we get to the biennium that begins in July of '29, and then they could get a funding commitment and close by the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we had some bumpers on that where if they didn't get approved, that's obviously going to trigger some things. But was there discussion of like potential, if we have another party showing interest, there's some timeline within which they have to receive the funds in the next biennium so we don't have it tied up for 4 years? Am I imagining that?
We don't have a provision like we are putting into the La Fiesta one to pursue an alternative. However, if they do not pass financial eligibility, they will withdraw. That project will be dead.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's go on to 90.2, review of capital allocations.
I know this is your favorite part of the meeting. I actually gave all of you a large tabloid spreadsheet and a condensed summary next to it. You had gotten one in your package. You can throw that one away because I changed it. I made it hopefully a little bit clearer. So at this point, we have $2.5 million of unallocated cash before reserves. Now, we've had this question of reserves hanging around for a little while. The big one being, are we going to reserve funds for the transition to Mira 2.0, which was currently plug number of $1 million. And then we don't have clarity yet about a disposition scenario for the warehouse on Central Avenue. There's a lot of deferred maintenance in that building. One of the candidates would be to transfer it to city for facilities and storage. So having a little bit of money set aside for that is also recommended in the reserves. But those are not hard decisions, they're not hard funding commitments. Our cash remainder after reserves, based on this total 1.75 million, is $750,000. If you look at the larger spreadsheet, there is one item in orange, which I have mentioned in the past, which is a $750,000 allocation for traffic calming in Liberty Park. Quite frankly, I don't believe that's ever going to happen, and I don't believe it would ever cost anything near that. So one of my recommendations is you all have a conversation about whether to unencumber those funds, in which case our cash remainder then goes to 1.5. Any questions about the summary? This also has been adjusted for the contract for the baseball stadium study. Originally, you all said, we'll set aside $500,000. You're only using $250,000, so I've taken it the other 250 off and put it back into unallocated. The 250s, if you look on this, up on the downtown projects on the large sheet, no, I'm sorry, that's not where it is. It's under other projects, NIRB stadium analysis. Blue line, it says 250. That had been 500, so that freed up the other 250.
Are you looking for a motion this evening regarding that traffic calming, or are you just planting that seed for us to discuss and make a decision on later?
I mean, if y'all are ready to move forward with taking it off the list, I think that a motion at the dais would be fine for something like that. It's just a allocation of funds.
For taking something off the list, I think a motion from the dais would be fine.
Yes, Ms. Harris.
I move to remove $750,000 in allocated traffic calming and put it into unallocated funds.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Mr. Jaruzinski?
Yeah, just as a general comment, I mean, the more we go through this and as we transition into 2.0 and when we develop it, there's more than one project on that list. I just find myself not really interested in, I'm being really hesitant to commit these funds to anything. I understand pulling it back off and I can support that, but I just, as a general comment, is I just don't know that I'm highly committed on any allocation moving forward. So just as a conversation piece for as we're talking about where maybe the 750 can land.
Okay, so you're saying you're good with pulling it back to reserves, but hesitant to put it somewhere else at this point? Okay. Any other discussion? Winnie, will you call roll?
Jessica Ayers?
Yes.
John Quinn?
Yes.
Garrett West?
Yes.
Michael Zarazinski?
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger?
Yes.
Kevin Keating?
Yes.
And Nick Card?
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Okay, well, that was a productive review. Do you have anything else for us?
I don't have anything more for you all.
Yeah, Mr. Val.
I would just want to make the board aware, Mr. Weiss retired quite some time ago, and he's been working back for us on a contract basis for quite some time. He has officially let us know that time is coming to an end, and so he will have a couple more meetings with us, but on August 21st will be his last day of employment with the city of Medford. And so you'll see him a couple more times, but I wanted to let you know that is official now, and he's moving on to bigger and brighter things.
Harry, will you entertain a motion to extend your contract in perpetuity?
No.
You
can take that up with my wife.
I only got to work with you for the tail end of everything you're doing with Mura, but you were a really phenomenal introduction to Mura. You do a great job of explaining it. You're very hands-on.
thank
You're very patient with those of us who don't know what we're doing when we get elected.
Thanks.
So,
Well, I
thank
still
you.
have 2 months to screw up, so don't worry.
If you do, I won't know, so you'll be good. Okay, we'll move on to propositions and remarks. Does anyone have? Yes, Mr. Zarazinski.
So, Harry, I will chide you once. So, I do get distracted. I've written today's date down, I don't know how many times today, but just so you know, I got married on June 21st, specifically so I could remember my anniversary. And the second you came up and said happy solstice, I freaked out thinking that I had forgotten my anniversary. Oh, are you kidding me over there? Either way, the equinox, sorry. I've always called it the summer solstice, but here nor there. Either way, June 21st is always stuck in my head as that date. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot my anniversary. But all better.
I got married on New Year's Eve, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay, do we have anything else for the good of the order? All right, we are done at 7:46. Don't go anywhere, we have a study session.
Study session. Okay.
Do I call the study session to order at 7:46?
And Your Honor, we only have one item under study session tonight, a discussion regarding a Kids Unlimited possibilities.
Okay, I'm going to tee this up for you. I'm going to do a quick overview of what the capital project is and what the ask is that is coming to the board this evening. Then I'm going to hand it off to Tom Cole. Tom is here with a number of staff and board members from Kids Unlimited to give you the full background on possibilities. I know many of you have recently toured the facility and are already somewhat familiar with what they're working on. Really exciting project and a pretty interesting capital project for Liberty Park. So the Kids Unlimited campus is an amalgam of about 5 or 6 different properties that they have acquired and developed over a long period of time. They have invested in excess of $15 million over the last 20 years in Liberty Park. In fact, a lot of it in that period of time before Mira really turned a substantial amount of attention to Liberty Park. We didn't really start working a whole lot in Liberty Park until 2018 after the adoption of the substantial amendment. Prior to that, we had done the little vest pocket park on the corner of Bartlett and Maple, and we had done some sidewalk work up on Riverside in front of Lithia Toyota. But other than that, during the first 30 years of Mira, 35 years of Mira, we didn't really do much for Liberty Park, and that was one of the primary focuses of the substantial amendment. So I've always felt that Kids Unlimited has been a real pioneer in, working in Liberty Park, bringing new energy and helping transform the neighborhood. Their most recent acquisition is the site at 717 North Riverside. This is the former Mag Auto auction business that they acquired through a 1031 exchange for some property next to the La Fiesta site. And here's sort of aerial view to orient you to that site. These are the existing conditions on the frontages of Riverside, Maple, and Pine. It's basically a small building in the middle of a giant parking lot with a fence around it and some landscaping. KU's campus has a very cohesive presentation to the street. This is the view of their primary facility. They put in a beautiful wrought iron fence with a lot of landscaping and the sidewalk, and they want to take that and extend that same kind of interface between the sidewalk and their property and define the possibility site with the same kind of aesthetic. The building's pretty small. This is going to become a facility which is the production and distribution facility for their Possibilities program, which is an outgrowth of their larger food service program that serves 40,000 meals a month in Jackson County. And you can see the architectural plans for kitchen and how that will work. Elevations. Current view above, proposed view below. View of the current frontage on Riverside and rendering of what it would look like with that fence. So one of the things that we talked about how Mira could support this project, the development that they are doing does not trigger any requirement for public improvements. They don't have to do anything on any of the frontages with the sidewalk or the streets, any of that. Because this is just simply converting into a different use and doesn't trigger that, doesn't trip that wire. So one of the issues that KU is particularly knowledgeable about is the nature of the sidewalk and the vegetation. We have these pretty lush planter strip in front of KU to the north. Those are a real maintenance headache because they get filled with everything from dog excrement to needles. It's an ongoing issue. And we don't really have a set standard for Riverside in this area. It doesn't correspond to anything in the TSP, so it's a legacy street. So one of the things that Tom and I talked about was, could Mira rebuild the sidewalk on Riverside and put in what we'd specify as the downtown street, which is in this case would be a 12-foot sidewalk with 8 street trees in wells, rather than have a landscape strip that becomes an ongoing nightmare for maintenance. Because it's not part of the project, this is something we can do independently of whether, of their capital project on the site. And we're building sidewalks all over Liberty Park anyway, so this is sort of right in line with the program that we had already established. So the funding request is really broken into 2 pieces. A separate scope of work for Mira to build a new sidewalk on Riverside on that frontage based on a 12-foot sidewalk and street trees. And then a second request for capital funding directly to pay for expenses associated with the project of converting this building. The total of that is $535,000. 120 of that is for the sidewalk, and $415 is for the project. This summary shows the uses of funds and the sources of funds and the status of the source of funds. So a lot of this is foundation money that has already been committed or is pending a final decision on a request. And the items in yellow that are pulled out are the ones that are being asked of y'all as Mira to consider contributing to this project. So that's the tee up on the capital project and the ask. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about that before I hand it off to Tom.
So we're just talking about doing this from, it would basically be 705 and 717 frontage up to Maple Street, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's about 250 linear feet of sidewalk.
Okay. And for 12 feet, I mean, I'm just looking at an overhead. I don't have measurements. Does that require any right-of-way?
No, that's all in the existing right.
It's already 12 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, back a curb to curb is 12 feet.
Okay. Kevin, did you have a question?
I did, just curious about the site work landscape for 250, what's being landscaped exactly?
That is all the landscaping around it. That's also the fencing. The fencing alone, I believe, is $80,000, something like that.
Yeah, the 250 is separate from the fencing. I can barely read it. It says site work / landscape.
Site work landscaping is 250, fencing is 80.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Right.
So there's a substantial amount of exterior site preparation, and part of that is, so what they want to do is they want to bring the fence like they did up the street, up to the back of sidewalk,
Right.
and put all the landscape on the interior side of that fence to get
So
all
that's
that
just the
buffer.
landscaping on the interior of the fence?
Right.
Okay.
It's pretty wide landscape buffer all the way around.
I had a great tour.
Yeah.
I would just add that there's considerable grade differentials out here already, where from the curb up to the elevation of the property. So as you complete that work, there's going to have to be some excavation. There might be some very minor retaining walls, some things like that to make the grades all work. So it's not quite as simple as just putting a little bit of rock in and putting a sidewalk down.
Any other questions, or we want to let Tom dive into a little more detail?
Okay, well, I will invite Tom to come down and pull up his presentation. And you'll just have to hit page down.
Page
to
down.
advance.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity to present our project. I wanted to introduce the 3 guests that we have. They are all 3 young ladies who are, one is Rocio Mendoza. She's a parent at our school. She's our board president. And this is Lapita Vargas, who is the associate executive director and my succession plan, fortunately, and Lilia Caballero. All 3 of these young ladies grew up in Kids Unlimited in the original after-school site in 1998, and one is Director of Nursing Services for Providence, and Lilia works at local investment D.A. Davidson currently. So I want to give you a little background about them and share with you kind of the a quick tour of what we're trying to accomplish. Our mission, empowerment through opportunity, and this is who we are today. Youth organization that serves about 1,600 kids a day. We have 10 after-school sites that are located at every high-poverty elementary school in Medford. We have early learning and preschool services. We have a kindergarten through 5 public charter school. And right now we're in the midst of summer camps. We do youth development, sports, and wraparound resources all year long. The project that we are excited about is an extension of the food program. We do 40,000 meals a month. Each kid in our program gets an opportunity to have a cooked from scratch dinner. So all of our food is made from scratch. We made a transition from an institutional food provider over a decade ago when we recognized that for a lot of our kids who are residents here in Medford, we are their first, middle, and last lunch dinner of the day. So, am I going backward? Yeah. Okay, so there's some pictures of our food program. That's to the right, a picture of our commercial kitchen. You can see some pictures of our pasta project. You know, today, the things that we're focusing on, and we focus since the beginning on, but are probably even more critical today, are these values that we still hold: love, kindness, trust, confidence, consistency, belonging, responsibility, integrity, purpose, engagement with hands-on learning, safety, and food and nutrition. This is the logo called Pasta Abilities Unlimited. It was created by kids, and it's created for kids. The facility is more than an extension of Kids Unlimited. It's a culinary arts training facility. It's a chance for kids to learn how to work, how to have a work experience, to have gainful employment. It's a place that we would produce additional food from, that we do family engagement, culinary classes, and a huge asset to the revitalization of Liberty Park. As some of the council members have taken a tour there, you know, we've been in that neighborhood since we acquired the old bowling alley in 2004. We've seen overdoses, we've seen homicides, we've seen the neighborhood change as a result of the presence of Kids Unlimited. We've seen home ownership increase, and yet we've also seen a lot of blight that still impacts Medford being so close. Riverside Avenue has hotels that still rent by the hour. Riverside has its challenges of homelessness, like many pockets in Medford, heavy drug use and drug sales around our neighborhood. And, you know, what we've seen be an asset is that when you start to change the blight and encourage a place where people can visit and parents feel trustworthy to bring their kids to, the neighborhood dynamics change. They don't change overnight, but in the 25 years that we've been here, there have been huge changes. And we see this project as being an important piece of that. So you've seen the renderings. These are a couple other renderings that maybe were in Harry's position. You can see, I think one of the council members asked about the landscaping. Currently, we have a couple of facilities that are working with families and people that are in addiction recovery. And we struggle with a lot of dog feces, a lot of needles, a lot of just trash, you know, that gets tossed, discarded. And this gives us a chance to create a barrier. There's a retention wall that would be parallel on Riverside there. This is another example. You know, you can see what the landscaping looks like now. There's a barbed wire fence around it. We would continue the transition with that wrought iron gate. You can kind of see in the back over what looks like the menu board is a couple of garden domes, which would be access for families and kids to do garden education, be a focal point of also having vertical integration of food that we're growing for our site and for the food that we're serving to the community. These are a couple other pictures. And this is another view of the kitchen itself. You know, it's not a restaurant. It's a place that you can walk up and have fresh food. It will sell pasta. It will make fresh pastas. It'll provide a business experience for kids, but it's not a place where people will come to congregate. It'll be a learning center as much as it is as a distribution place for food. And these are the benefits. You know, we think it's huge to the revitalization of Medford's most distressed neighborhood, Liberty Park. It's always been that. And we think that creating another extension of a facility that has a curb appeal and brings traffic into that area will only create more confidence for Medford citizens for that particular area. It's a educational and training and workforce development opportunity. Again, it's outsourcing fresh food made from scratch to ensure that our kids who represent the most vulnerable citizens in our community are going to get an access to eat fresh foods. It's allowing us to use the food program to create sustainability as well. And as I've talked about, it's vertically integrating our current garden and farming resources right back into a system that will go back and make sure that all kids at Title I schools in Medford have access to this. Here's some pictures of this project, some of the packaging and some of the presentation that's currently occurred at farmers markets, as well as distribution to several different businesses that are carrying the pasta. This is a sample menu. And these are different representations of kids in the kitchen, kind of how this whole thing was created. There's pictures of the first farmer market. You can see some of the gentlemen in the upper left-hand corner. They're college students that last summer were at home, and they worked the Medford Farmers Market. Annabelle Delgado, who's a community resource officer for the Pilot Academy, the police department, and a third-year student at SOU in the middle, and then high school kids, which is really how this whole thing started. You know, kids learning how to make a product with their hands, and it growing to be what has become a pretty popular thing. Just wanted, again, to say thanks for the opportunity and happy to answer any questions I can.
Questions? Yeah, John.
So you're both feeding the kids and selling at retail locations and the farmers market, and you can get served by walk up and drive through, but not eat in.
Yeah, it won't be a dine-in. So kind of think of a Papa Murphy's for pasta. You could come in and pick your sauce, pick your fresh noodles that are made from scratch, and it's really carry out. But it becomes foundational to the production. I tried to share, like, when our kids are eating spaghetti for dinner, it's spaghetti that's made out of there. When they're eating, you know, chicken fettuccine or yakisoba noodles or chicken noodle soup. So there's so many dishes that we found popular with the kids' palates that we also know are popular for adult palates, and it allows our kids to eat a high-quality, made-from-scratch item that we as adults would be proud to eat, and kids deserve to eat.
Okay. I may be getting too much into the operational aspect of it, but were you going to be providing meals out of Postabilities for some of the students? How do you disseminate who's coming in, who's getting provided a meal because they're from Title I or because they need the food versus who's going to come in and purchase what's being made?
We have a school right now that has close to 500 kids in it, 10 hours a day that eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we currently outsource to 10 after-school sites. So we physically, in a van with food warmers, take hot prepared meals to each of those sites and deliver them. So if there are 65 kids at Griffin Creek or Jefferson or Oak Grove, Washington, Jackson, Howard, Roosevelt, we take the food to them, and they're there at the after-school site right when they adjourn school. We have a snack program, and in about 45 minutes after that, we're serving dinners, right? And they're all coming in hot Cambros. So this becomes an additional production facility because our numbers continue to rise. That commercial kitchen that we opened in 2017 never had we didn't have the vision that it was going to do 40,000 meals a month, you know, when we started it. I think the need has grown so much, and our responsiveness to the need has pushed us into the area, and this becomes a natural extension of that.
Okay, so students aren't coming to Possibilities. Possibilities is a production center to get the food out to the
Yeah,
students. Okay.
and you could come to Possibilities, or any adult parents could come to Possibilities to pick up dinners, and we have that now, and we see it as another way to help feed some of the most needy families that are in our school. Our school is 100% of poverty. It's about 90% of our students are Latino. A lot of our families are struggling with food insecurities, amongst many other things. And so having another place where they can have with dignity hot meals ready, that we can say tonight, you can come by and get raviolis or spaghetti or, whatever pasta dishes are there. It's just another extension of that. But we also think that our students who are learning culinary arts and learning the responsibilities of working can be a component of not only having a job, but serving a private sector community that wants to eat a fresh plate of pasta.
Yes?
I don't have a question. First of all, you have to pay full price when you go to Possibilities, so.
I was going to pay for classes.
Okay. And John, you're missing out by not having eaten the food yet, because I keep touring it just so I can keep eating it over and over again. But no, I mean, it's no secret, Tom, that you've just done incredible things with Kids Unlimited through the sports programs, the food. It's like you're constantly just trying to push the limits about what you can do with these kids and what they can become. Like, it literally makes me tear up. But anyway, to me, this project checks so many boxes. I mean, it's focused on Liberty Park, it addresses blight, it has an economic development component in supporting workforce, and that's just a few of the things. So, I mean, I'm 100% supportive of this project.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions? Thoughts?
I'm just very impressed with what I've seen, and I'm in favor of this.
And Harry, you're looking, we're going to have some sort of action at a later date if we're going to take formal response to this, correct? But this is to get in front of
You're in
us.
study session, you can't make any decisions
Yeah.
tonight. So what we're looking for is direction to staff, if you want us to bring back a grant proposal, if you want us to adopt the sidewalk project, we can easily do that. That's a really simple add-on to what we're currently doing in the neighborhood. But we would bring back a formal agenda item in board meeting relative to whatever financial support you choose to contribute towards the project, if that's the direction that you give tonight.
Any support that went towards either of these two asks would come from the 1.5 unallocated.
Correct.
Is that correct? What kind of history, don't take this as me being skeptical of the project, because this sounds awesome, but a lot of this happened before I was on the board. What kind of partnership or funding have we granted to these different KU projects in the past? Do we have a history of that, or would this be unique?
Mira has never given KU any money.
Okay.
The city gave KU a grant when they were at 1 East Main, and I'll let you explain that, and then some CDBG money in 2004. But that's the total of municipal or Mira support that KU has received. I'll let you.
I was joking with Harry that, in 1998, when we were going in front of council to create our first place and we were renting a building downtown, we asked the council for $25,000 to do a seismic retrofit on a building that we didn't own. And it was a different time in Medford. At that time, there were 3 schools of poverty in 1998. Today, there are only 3 schools that are not. And so the inception of, Kids Unlimited also paralleled a time when Medford was changing, and we felt like we were trying to respond, create services and programs that were meeting the needs of kids. So we've never asked for money. In fact, we subsidized all the sidewalks and all of the sewer repairs that were triggered in some of the early construction in Liberty Park that I think today would have been easily identifiable as Mira projects, but that was in 2004 and 5, and so different time, different council, different community.
Yeah, Kevin.
I'm curious about the difference, if there is one, between the public school, charter school section of your outfit and then I assume you're a 501c3 as well.
Yeah.
So we're able to give you money even though you're partially public, or?
We are a 501c3. Kids Unlimited Academy, which is a separate 501c3, is outside of it. And as a public charter school, Kids Unlimited Academy owns nothing, has no assets. Kids Unlimited owns all of the properties, all the physical, the actual facilities, and any kind of capital expansion that's occurred in Liberty Park. Kids Unlimited Academy is a service organization that runs a public charter school and uses about 80% of what a traditional allocation would be for ADM that funds a typical public school.
Sorry, I'm making you guys bounce up and down. Harry, the sidewalk thing, I totally agree, is an obvious fit for Mura. Tom, don't take any of this as negative of what you're executing here, and you hit our favorite word at Mura, which is blight. Does the full scope of this project, in your opinion, Harry, fall under preventing blight and preventing the degradation of property values?
Yeah, and I guess the way I would characterize this is that, for a long time, we gave out facade improvement grants to private property owners, right, all over downtown. So the interface of the way properties present to the public realm is always an area of interest in public improvement. And that's where you leave the right-of-way and you're into a private property. But it's the kind of thing that you look at, what are the conditions on this site? And, quite frankly, Mag Auto was a perfectly fine business, although they used to let everybody test drive their cars on Maple, and the neighborhoods used to complain about people speeding down Maple. But you look at that site and realize, here's a classic situation in Liberty Park where we had a land use that was an automobile-oriented business. And one of the things in the Liberty Park Neighborhood Master Plan envisions a more multi-use neighborhood that isn't so car-oriented and isn't about big parking lots and, commercial buildings set back. Case in point, La Fiesta Market seeks to reverse that relationship. So when I look at this, we're trying to take advantage of an existing improvement on the property, which is of sufficient size for them to use for this project. And most of what we're doing is exterior enhancement support for their project. So I think in terms of the impact on the neighborhood, it's kind of right where it makes sense for Mura to intervene.
Anyone else? It seems like, yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can question, by the way, the solid work you're doing. I've toured your facility as well, and this program is fantastic. What I continually run up against, and this has happened, this is now number 3, is the struggle with the Mura money, with the kind of the restore economic vitality in the form of, I guess, tax roll improvement. And that's always a struggle I'm going to have on the nonprofit part of it. So that's where I end up stuck. We have moved forward 2 other projects very similar, so I'm not trying to say sorry or anything like that, because it's a struggle for me, and it still makes me hesitant, and I bump up against that. Certainly the street frontage, we've been doing a ton of that. That fits easy. It's maybe some of the other that I will just have to process.
Well, you've been consistent with that too. I don't think you have to apologize. Nick, yeah.
I was actually going to say basically the same thing Mike was saying, that's where, for me, like the sidewalk improvements, those I don't have any kind of a problem with. I think that's a no-brainer. It's the being careful about threading the needle in terms of, are we using urban renewal dollars to enhance property values through the eradication of blight, or are we using urban renewal dollars to enhance nonprofits? Both are worthy causes. Only one is a legitimate use of urban renewal dollars. And so I too, like Mike, I have to sort of sit with this, and I think it's important that we understand and are deliberate about that that separation and how we frame whatever it is that we're going to be doing with this project. I think Kids Unlimited is an incredible resource for our community. They're worthy of our support. That's not the question to me. It's the question of, are we using urban renewal dollars correctly within the scope of what they are meant for?
If I could just take a second.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I think one thing, I practically lived in Liberty Park for 20 plus years, right? So what I will say is what that nonprofit Kids Unlimited has done to create home ownership and confidence in even the market across the street that you're in discussion about is, in my opinion, a reflection of an infrastructure that we have created there. I don't think the juice shop across the street, which has been a really popular and thriving small business, Pineapple Northwest, I don't think they would be there, or the sign dude would be there, because neither of them were there. And what has happened over time is the confidence in not only commercial groups to find, a place that feels safer or feels more visible, but it's also started, we've seen the neighborhood change from home ownership. That's something that can be easily validated. And I think when I look at Medford as just a citizen and someone who's been in that facility, if community leadership doesn't recognize how important it is to create something different, something that changes the perception of that Riverside corridor, it will be very difficult to create utility in the downtown. Between Jackson Street and McAndrews is an issue. It's an issue for police. It's an issue for homelessness. It's an issue for drug trafficking. And if, our neighborhood, I see things in that neighborhood that no other neighborhood in Medford would ever deal with. If it was in any of your neighborhoods, and I don't know where any of you live, but you would not tolerate what happens there. And the only way to change that is to create awareness, right? To create presence where other people start to care about the blight and the neglect and the things that have gone undone there for far too long. And if we don't start to prioritize those things, we'll continue to have that kind of section between Jackson Street and the mall, which is problematic, where I think it's a corridor that could be I think if that starts to carry a different kind of identity, other businesses could also see the compatibility of it, of being a place that's attracting all kind of residents of Medford who see a purpose in that particular zone. So,
if I can, without speaking for anyone, I do want to make sure no one hears us questioning the value of what you're doing, just whether or not Mura dollars are the right vehicle for supporting that. So please don't hear anybody saying, when you guys throw the other gavel at me if I'm wrong. No one's questioning how important the work you're doing is. Jess, yeah.
I think last comment I want to make is we just don't want to forget the investment that you've already made in that neighborhood that did fit the criteria very well. You could have, secured city funding multiple times for that and did not. So I think we need to not forget that a lot of, donors and out-of-pocket funds were used to do things that we could have supported through Mira.
Yeah, Garrett.
Harry, there was a slide earlier that kind of listed the allocations per item for the project. Would you mind emailing that out to us later? Just because I want to sit with that and really study it a lot, because I am concerned about our reserves. So I just want to make sure that this is the appropriate way to go forward. Thanks.
I'll get that out this evening.
Z, super briefly, conceptual delivery vehicle aside, you just said you're not sure if you want to allocate any unallocated funds, and now we're talking about potentially allocating unallocated funds. Do you have severe enough heartburn to say yay or nay?
I roll my eyes.
I mean, I guess you're one of 9, so even if you are absolutely yes or absolutely no, it's not going to be a...
Is that something that rests in my mind? Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
look, like I said, the very start, there's no discounting the work you're doing. And it would be, I find it, I guess, challenging to think I would not be in support of something, whether or not it's 615 or whatever the number was, or something else. I don't know. I just got to process.
Okay. So, yeah, Keating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a struggle understanding where people are not seeing this as a reversal of blight in a big way. And I don't have any problem with the amount of money. I think it's okay, and it's going to be a really good community asset. We're turning an auto-focused, area into a foot traffic, area. And considering, the project that we did for Children's Museum, I think this is well within the bounds of what we should be doing.
Tom, are you open to putting a small single-bay car wash in the corner of the lot, if we help?
Maybe across the street, there's one more of these.
So what I'm, like, we do the thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm hearing that we have maybe some, oh, John, did you have another comment? I'm sorry, your light's on.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions come to mind as we were all talking. So there is or isn't a drive-through?
It's a carry-out, but yes, it starts with an order window, and then you pull up under the old Lithia architectural feature, we'll call it.
So you pull up in a car?
Yeah.
And so it's a drive-through?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also got a walk-in component.
Okay. And then, do you have any sense of how much, so students will be fed from this, I get that. Families of students as well?
Mm-hmm.
And how will you determine who those people are?
Well, we know pretty well what kids and families right now have food insecurities, even within our own organization. And that's I mean, if you could imagine, like in our summer camp, we could identify families every day that could go and get a hot dinner, right? They could get a card or a pass to go eat. So it would be very easy for us to identify the kids and families that we know have the highest needs to make sure that they have that security.
So you know who your kids' parents are?
Absolutely.
Okay. And
maybe
then,
more than we'd like on some occasions, but yes.
And then the last question is, what percentage or what forecast have you made about what you will be selling at full price to Mike?
Yeah.
Versus
the price
what you'll
point
be
is
giving away for free?
We're trying to keep the price point at about $13 for a dinner.
No, I wasn't asking for the price.
Oh.
What kind of revenues are you thinking you're going to get?
I
know it's hard to say, but you must have made estimates.
We didn't, because we're not going into this with the lens of it being, a Chick-fil-A that has to generate a certain round of revenue. We want this to kind of organically grow. I mean, even from the process of a trademark, we want our kids to learn how a legal representation of earning a trademark is. So every facet of this project is being inclusive of kids. We have a CPA who's on our board member who's a former alumni that is going to volunteer his time as a mentor to teach kids basic accounting. What is a profit and loss? So much of this is organic. We don't have a projection that X needs to happen in order for it to be successful, because we know at the end of the day, if we never sold it as a retail market and it only fed kids out of our program, it would be an unbelievable utility.
I was trying to, I'm just curious how that would affect your projections on what resources you had available, and also, I guess it could still be a 501c3 if it's got incidental for profit or at least for payment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, we run a micro business, if you will, called Empower Print. We teach kids graphic design and printing. We print for Harry and David. We print for Jordan Brand. They like the idea of students being involved with the creation of the artwork and being paid and having future aspirations to move into a career in marketing. So kids, we believe, are in part of the hands-on piece of this, and never does it displace any private sector printing places, because it's different. It's part of a class. It's part of a different experience.
I was just curious and thinking with you, it's a struggle every time for me to not click into cross-examination when I talk to people. It's very hard.
Yeah.
You laugh at me, but it's very hard. So I just wanted to learn a few things. That's
Yeah,
all. Don't,
for sure.
don't take it as I'm grilling you. I am incapable of not grilling people.
I've had a few conversations like this over a period of time.
Okay.
Yeah, John Bile.
President, per your comment, we're not asking for a thumbs up, thumbs down. We were just wanted to inform you of this particular project, receive some input from you. I think we received sufficient input tonight that we can prepare something for the next meeting.
Okay, so yeah, we all love the idea. We're not sure of the exact parameters of which pieces make sense and don't, but we're open to hearing a proposal. Is that fair for everybody? Okay. Tom, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
And I think we had one item on the study session tonight. Is that correct?
That's it.
That is correct.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We do have an executive session following this.